if it's native timber, they're particularly interested in, they won't burn it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's just too precious.
Yeah.
So they will take all the nails out and give it a new life.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It was awesome to see how it was just such a community led program, It was just people that came together and saw a problem and went to solve it.
Well, the problems are usually right there with humans, eh? But we don't really look to the solution of it. We go, well, we'll just keep going.
Yeah. It's like somebody should fix that, but not me.
Yeah, the council.
Yep.
Yeah.
The council.
Yeah,
they're the ones that should fix everything. But that's not how it works here.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see
why
how the community works.
That's actually why we came here. Well, to Raglan in specific, because our program is solutions journalism.
Yes,
so it's the creative problem solving that everyone in this community is doing for a variety of issues. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a huge inspiration. I think all of us are really inspired to go back home and try to.
All right, you're actually heading off to another. Am I okay just to sit here?
Oh yeah, you are totally fine.
Okay.
And is it okay if at the end of the interview we just take a couple of pictures of you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
Just see.
Oh, you look great. Don't worry about it. Yeah. You're just natural.
I mean, I'll just. You won't take it on my foot, eh?
No, we won't. Make sure.
We're gonna get a close up of your foot.
But
That's
the
it.
foot is telling a real story. Yeah. I didn't finish either. Just too much on my. Yeah, so you would have been on Karioi, which is there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
the mountain. Wow, you probably know more about Raglan than I do.
We have done a lot these couple of days.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it can be quite full, eh?
Oh yeah, full schedule for sure.
And also, the people who you spoke to are very sharing,
Yeah.
bring it on, because the more people that know, solutions.
Right. I think we've been really lucky to get people who are so willing to share with us. I think some people can be kind of afraid of journalism and journalists mixing up what they say, but we are just so eager to learn from you guys. It's so amazing. We're so grateful for everybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, well, we've just had quite a lot of our politicians complaining about the journalists
Oh really?
Well,
here.
that's valid.
But it's because they're not solution-based.
Yeah.
They just, and the stories are sort of so and and the particular politician is identifying that's not your job, your only job, You shouldn't be just telling, this one died, and he said, anyone can do that. He said, let's look beyond that. And, I was listening and going, you're right, actually, because we're all sitting here going, oh, that's terrible. Oh, you're more, your adrenaline and your sort of, just in the moment of learning about some disaster, and then you switch to another channel. And there's no emotive, it's all emotive, but there's no deeper relationship to the situation. Okay, so how are we gonna, what are we gonna do about that?
Just all the problems and none of the inspiration for how to do anything.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
So, we loved listening to you talk previously, and we're so inspired by what you had to say, and we have so much more that we're interested in about it. But if you want to start by just telling us a little bit about yourself and kind of your history.
Where you're from.
Sure. I think at the time that I introduced myself in my mihi, I was saying, so ko puhi kaiariki te tangata. So puhi kaiariki was the the main navigator on the original waka, which arrived here as part of the migration to Aotearoa, New Zealand, which didn't happen in one day. It happened over a series of years. That the waka came from Hawaii Nui and were guided here by a previous voyager called Kupe, who then passed on his navigational knowledge and indicated that this is where they should come and resettle. So Puhi Kaiariki was one of those navigators which landed in the far north of the North Island, and from which I am descended from. So many, many generations back. You know, some people come and live here. They land here on a plane, from a plane. My ancestors, my original ancestors, came on a seafaring waka.
Which is like the canoes, right?
Yeah, it's actually a catamaran. A catamaran in its style, and it's actually what has one of the things that New Zealand has become, how do you say, in the sailing world, very known for the design of its yachts and the speed. Well, actually, some of that technology comes from the original catamaran. And so then I indicated that I descended into the far north, which was the original haukainga of my people, tribally, and also where what we call the settler nation came into this country as well. It was what we call the area that first contact was made with those who came from Europe, and we call them the settler nation. We call them a variety of names. That contact, that early contact. So that was with my ancestors, and a number of historical things took place through that contact. So I also acknowledge the mountain because it's a geographical location of Emiami and Taratara, which is the sacred mountains, and those mountains are sacred in a sense that they were places where there were high points in the geography which you could look out from, or for the people who were living there in the past, those high points were very important to look out and know who was coming into the harbour on ships. Because in modern times, in contemporary times, we think of highways as the most common way of connecting to other towns, villages. In ancient times, those mountains were looking out to the sea and to the rivers because that was the main form of transport. They came by sea. So we acknowledged our mountains, our sacred mountains, and then also geographically back to the tributaries and the estuaries and the waterways that come from the mountains that bring the waters down into the waterways that serve as the place where the water is taken from, the fresh water, for sustaining the village. I think I also mentioned Ngāti Pakahi and Tahawai as the two main sub-tribes. One was from my mother's side and the other was from my father's side. So that's where it's called a hapu, and the word hapu is the same word for being pregnant. So a hapu is created because the female line continues to give birth So a hapu is also a sub-tribe.
Okay.
And would you mind spelling really quick the 2 tribes that your parents were from?
Oh, so Ngāpuhi Nui Tonu.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the largest tribal group in Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's in the far north. Ngāpuhi Nui Tonu. And it has many, what they call many chiefs and many sub-tribes, hapu. And the autonomy of the people lay with the hapu. You know, like we have borough councils now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in ancient times, and not that long ago, that autonomy of sovereignty was hapu based.